the psychology of manipulation used on you daily. Think about the last time you made a choice that felt entirely your own, a moment where you believed your intuition guided you toward a specific purchase, a certain career path, or even a person you chose to trust. Now, ask yourself if that choice was actually yours, or if it was merely the final step in a carefully laid trail of breadcrumbs designed by someone else. There is a silent war being waged for the territory of your mind, a conflict where the weapons are not steel or fire, but whispers, colors, and the invisible strings of psychological triggers. You are being moved like a piece on a board you cannot see, by players who understand your fears and desires better than you understand them yourself. Every morning, you wake up and reach for a world that has already decided how you should feel. We live in an era of engineered consent, where the most powerful tools of influence are woven so tightly into the fabric of our daily lives that they become invisible. Consider the subtle art of the decoy effect. You stand in a coffee shop looking at two options, a small for $3 and a large for $7. The jump feels too steep, so you lean toward the small. But then, you notice the medium is priced at $6.50. Suddenly, the large looks like a bargain. You weren't hungry for more, but you were manipulated into wanting the value. This is not about coffee, it is about the hijacking of your rational brain. By placing a useless third option, they didn't just sell you a drink, they dictated the logic of your decision-making process. This happens in the quietest corners of your life. Imagine a woman named Sarah. Sarah is intelligent, independent, and prides herself on her skepticism. One day, she starts seeing a new coworker, Mark, who seems to possess an uncanny ability to understand her. He mirrors her body language, repeats her favorite phrases, and validates every insecurity she has ever felt. Slowly, Sarah begins to rely on his perspective. When she succeeds, he tells her she was lucky. When she fails, he tells her he is the only one who truly supports her. This is the grooming of the soul, a process called gaslighting mixed with love bombing. By overloading her with affection and then subtly withdrawing it, Mark creates a chemical addiction in Sarah's brain. She is no longer making choices based on her happiness, but on the desperate need to return to that initial state of validation. We see this in toxic relationships, but we also see it in the way brands speak to us, promising a sense of belonging that is revoked the moment we stop consuming. Manipulation thrives in the gap between who you are and who you wish you were. It uses the principle of social proof to make you feel like a ghost in your own life. When you see a crowd running in one direction, your primal instinct is to follow, not because you know where they are going, but because the fear of being left behind is more terrifying than the danger ahead. This is why websites tell you that 500 other people are looking at the same hotel room, or why influencers curate lives of impossible perfection. They are creating a vacuum of inadequacy inside you, and then offering their product as the only way to fill it. You are being taught to distrust your own reality in favor of a manufactured consensus. The most dangerous form of influence is the one that uses your own kindness against you. It is the rule of reciprocity. If someone does something small for you, you feel an overwhelming, almost painful debt to pay them back. A free sample is never free. It is a psychological shackle. When a salesperson gives you a compliment or a small gift, they are bypassing your critical thinking and tapping into a social contract written into our DNA. You find yourself saying yes to things you don't want, simply because you don't want to feel the weight of an unpaid favor. As you move through your day, remember that silence is often the loudest tool of control. The fear of missing out, the calculated delay in a text response, the scarcity of a limited time offer. These are all designed to trigger a state of physiological stress. When you are in a state of urgency, your prefrontal cortex shuts down and your amygdala takes the wheel. You stop thinking and start reacting. You are no longer a person. You are a bundle of reflexes being harvested for profit or power. But there is a quiet strength in awareness. To see the strings is the first step toward cutting them. The next time you feel a sudden surge of urgency or a deep sense of guilt that doesn't quite belong to you, pause. Ask yourself who benefits from your discomfort. Ask yourself why this choice feels like the only one available. The architecture of your mind is your own, yet if you do not claim it, someone else will build a prison inside it and charge you rent. You have been conditioned to believe that your impulses are your identity, but the truth is that much of what you feel has been planted there by architects of behavior who study your weaknesses like a map. It is time to look at the map for yourself. It is time to reclaim the silence and realize that the most powerful thing you can do in a world that wants to move you is to stand perfectly still and choose for yourself.